Hello friends, looking at current affairs for 14th July. The news items picked up from the Hindu newspaper are these 11. We'll look at them in detail. The first one, diplomacy at work to end China-India standoff. So we are seeing the standoff at the trilateral junction near Sikkim, the Donglang region. As we have spoken of quite often, it has crossed 1 month. It has entered into its second month now. And the government says that diplomatic channels are still being used to resolve the standoff as such. So this is the statement given as this standoff enters its second month. China has still continued to urge India to immediately pull its troops back to the Indian side. So this is the demand of China as such coming forth too. And the Foreign Secretary, Mr. Jaishankar, he had stated that India and China were factor of stability. And he said that the factor of stability in a turbulent world, and he had stated that both the leaders, Narendra Modi and Xi Jinping, have agreed not to allow differences to become dispute. So this is an assurance coming forth too, but the diplomatic channels, that's what the government claims, are still being used. Then the next news item is tribunal prohibits dumping of waste near Ganga banks. So this is regarding the National Green Tribunal. It has given its verdict on the 1985 PIL petition which was brought forth before the judiciary. So this was a petition by an environment activist and a lawyer, Mr. M.C. Mehta. And this petition, which had reached the Supreme Court, has finally been transferred in 2014 to the National Green Tribunal. You should know that National Green Tribunal was formed lately, just in 2010. And since then, it has heard various environment-related cases. The chairman of the National Green Tribunal is Justice Swatantra Kumar. So here the verdict has been provided on the cleaning of Ganga river. So this PIL petition which had been put forth was regarding cleaning of river Ganga. So now the verdict which has come forth, it has stated that an area of 100 meters from the edge of the Ganga between Haridwar and Unnao, it should be declared as no development zone. So this is first and foremost order coming forth. It has also stated that environment compensation of 50,000 should be imposed on anyone who is dumping waste in the river. It has asked the government, UP and Uttarakhand government, to formulate guidelines about even the religious activities which are taking place on the ghats of the river Ganga and its tributaries. So this also has to be regulated. Then also shifting of tanneries has to take place within 6 weeks from this Jajmua region in Kanpur to other leather parks which are there in Unnao or any other place which the tribunal says, which the government decides. So UP government has to undertake this too. Plus it has also appointed a supervisory committee. So this is a supervisory committee appointed by NGT, which is headed by Secretary of Water Resources of the Uttar Pradesh government, and also has IIT professionals and other officials. So this supervisory committee is going to oversee the implementation of the directions of the National Green Tribunal. So it will provide reports regularly at regular intervals to NGT too. So this supervisory committee has also been called for. So this is there. Also other things which it talks of is regarding indiscriminate groundwater extraction by industries has to stop in the catchment area of Ganga. Then another aspect is also on mechanical mining. So mechanical mining in Ganga has to stop. Mining should be done preferably more manually is also a statement given by National Green Tribunal. So there are various programs for cleaning of river Ganga. This is the Namami Gange program and various provisions under it. So you can go through these also. This is there. Then the next news item is open to out of tribunal settlement on Mahadayi dispute, Goa. So we have been seeing about various river water disputes. This is the river water dispute on Mahadayi river. It is known as Mandovi river in Goa. So this is a river water dispute amongst 3 states. Karnataka, Goa, and also minor stake is there of Maharashtra too. So here a tribunal has already been established on the behest of the Goa government. So this tribunal which was established will give its verdict now in a month or so. And the government of Karnataka has been insistent on an out of tribunal settlement. And finally, now Goa has agreed to an out-of-tribunal settlement. So that is what it's spoken of. And the Goa minister here says that we have agreed because all 3 states have been spending huge money over the dispute. So the legal battle which is going on, it takes a lot of money investment on even advocates. So states have to have this expenditure done. So that is one point given, and he says that an amicable solution can come up with discussions and coming together. So that's why talks will now be held amongst the 3 states. the state leaders would come together. So this is there. Goa had been insistent that Mahadayi river is its main source of water, whereas for Karnataka there are many other sources, and the entire dispute, the genesis is in the dams, this Kalsa Bandura dams, which are being proposed to be built by Karnataka government. So this is the 7 dams as such on the river which were proposed to divert waters from this Mahadayi river to Malprabha river as such, which is a tributary of Mahadayi. So this dam construction has resulted in this dispute. Also, Goa has highlighted that a major part of the river traverses through Goa. So it starts from Karnataka, river originates in Karnataka, and then finally it enters into Goa and drains into Arabian Sea. And part of the basin lies in Maharashtra too. So here you can see only 28.8 kilometers of the river is in Karnataka, 81.2 kilometers in Goa. So this is the genesis of the dispute too. This is the map shown and the tribunal formation shown too. So this is the Malaprabha river, you can see. So this is Karnataka region and this is the Mahadayi river. So this as such is the problem. Mahadayi Malaprabha river linking project. So the dams which are proposed, this Kalsara Banduri canal project of Karnataka for this river linking. So this is the cause of the dispute. Karnataka government is doing it so that it will provide irrigation facility and drinking water facility to this starved region here in Karnataka. So that is why the tribunal, you can see, it was set up in 2010. So tribunal came up in 2010. Mahadayi River Water Dispute Tribunal on Goa's request. So this is shown here. Then this is again the details you've given. You can see Kalsa and Banduri Nalas are the 2 tributaries of Mahadayi River actually. So this is the genesis of the dispute. This Mahadayi river originates in Karnataka and drains from Goa into Arabian Sea. Malaprabha river is actually a tributary of Krishna river. Right? And these are the 2 tributaries of Mahadayi, Kalsa and Banduri Nala. So those linking would provide connectivity between these 2 river basins, Mahadayi and Malaprabha river basin. So that is what is protested against by Goa. Then the next news item is Tamil Nadu can claim only 132 TMCFT water. So this is regarding the Kaveri water dispute which we have been seeing for the last 2 days. Today was the 3rd day of the hearing of this dispute in the Supreme Court. And Karnataka has sought a reduction in the quantum of Kaveri water which it should release to Tamil Nadu according to Supreme Court order. So from 192 TMCFT which has been asked to be released, it says we can release up to 132 TMCFT, and that is a balanced view which should be taken by the Supreme Court also. But Supreme Court has not given its verdict yet. This was the last day of the hearing. So this is Karnataka. It says that in the drought prone area as such, the extent of drought prone area in Karnataka is 21,870 square kilometer, whereas in Tamil Nadu it is only 12,790 square kilometer. So these are again arguments given in favor of Karnataka and how the Kaveri Water Dispute Tribunal's adjudication was weak. It also shows here the contribution to the flow of Kaveri of the 4 states. So Karnataka has the maximum contribution of 425 TMCFT. And the tribunal award, you can see Karnataka got 270. And 252 TMCFT is the contribution of Tamil Nadu, whereas it got 419 TMCFT water allocation. So this is historically because the basin here in Tamil Nadu has been majorly developed and the irrigation facilities developed here are calling for this requirement. And this 3rd is for Kerala here, you can see 113 TMCFT. And again it reiterated that the principle of equity should be used to settle the dispute. So this is Karnataka government's argument. Then the next news item is no paddy cultivation in Mandya officials. So this is Mandya region in Karnataka, which is called the sugar bowl of old Mysuru region. And now the government is showing that how farmers here are not sowing seeds because of poor storage capacity in the Krishnaraja Sagar dam reservoir. So that is again a justification given that how we are not able to release the water requirement which is there for Tamil Nadu. So these are the reasons given here. You can see poor monsoon, Kaveri dispute and low non-release of water into canals have been the reasons that farmers fear they will lose their crops and they have not been sowing. So this is the 3rd week. By 3rd week of July it is stated that sowing ends. But then looking at the weak monsoon and the poor storage capacity in the canal, farmers are not sowing. Out of the requirement, the government had estimated that paddy cultivation would take place, but it says not a single hectare of paddy cultivation has been done till date. So farmers have started sowing, but they are sowing other crops like ragi, etc. Even sugarcane sowing has also reduced drastically. So this is the sowing trend shown of the last year and present year in hectares. You can see paddy is 0. Sugarcane is also reduced drastically. Even ragi has reduced. Cowpea has increased because that will not require much water. So these are the details shown by Karnataka too. Then the next news item is Bhav Rangari versus Tilak. Row over 125th anniversary of Ganpati festival. So we know the Ganpati festival, it is prominently known that Ganeshotsav festival, the Sarvajanik Ganeshotsav festival, this has been popularized by Lokmanya Tilak, Bal Gangadhar Tilak as he is. So he started off this festivities in 1894. But then there is this trust called Bhav Rangari Trust. They claim that this festival was started by Bhav Sahib Jawale, who is also known as Bhav Lakshman Jawale. He was the royal physician who ran a charitable dispensary in Shaniwarwada Fort in Pune, and here is when he had this Sarvajanik Ganeshotsav festivities done in 1892. And in 1893, they claim that Lokmanya Tilak had praised this, and in 1894 onwards, Tilak had held these Ganeshotsav festivals of his own. So the genesis of this whole dispute coming forth now is that the Pune mayor, the mayor of Pune is Mukta Tilak, which he belongs to the Lokmanya Tilak's family, and he has put aside 2 crore rupees for the celebrations of 125th anniversary of Ganeshotsav festival this year. So the Bhav Rangari Trust says that we have already celebrated the 125th anniversary. This is not the 125th anniversary. Tilak had popularized it later. It was initiated, the Sarvajanik Ganeshotsav was initiated by Bhav Lakshman Jawale. So he should get that due recognition is what the trust also wants. So he was known as Bhav Rangari because his family vocation was of coloring. So here you can see this Bhav Rangari, dyeing was the vocation, occupation. That's why he was given this term, Bhav Rangari. So this is the whole thing, which is the news. It also gives evidence that Tilak, how he had praised Bhav Rangari, the Bhav Sahib Jawale in his newspaper Khatri. So here it is also admitted that the festival became prominent because of Tilak's endorsement. Because of Tilak's endorsement in his Khatri newspaper and he promoting it, the festivities got the grandeur which it has today, and it is celebrated every year, the Sarvajanik Ganeshotsav. But then the dispute is on when is the 125th anniversary. So this is there. Then the next news item is now e-visa facility for Uganda. So this is regarding e-visa facility, electronic visa facility. So this is easing the visa provision for various nationals. We have provided this e-visa facility for around 163 countries in the world. But amongst the 54 African nations, only 18 nations have been provided with this facility. And the reason that other nations have not been added is because of the adverse reports from the intelligence agencies. So Uganda is one of the nations against which there are adverse reports, and now the government is endorsing that Uganda be excluded. The intelligence agencies give the approval so that Uganda can be extended the e-visa facility by India. So the reason for this adverse report by intelligence agencies is that there are various Mumbai-based underworld gangsters who are located in Kampala, the capital of Uganda. But then the government wants this because there is around 30,000 strong Indian community, mostly Gujaratis, who are living in Uganda, and they would be facilitated. So what this e-visa facility actually provides for is that it allows visa on arrival through 9 designated airports in the country and 3 seaports. So there is 60 days a visa stay which is allowed under e-visa facility. So the entire procedure is easy. You don't have to visit an Indian mission in the country which you are, and you don't have to provide any biometrics. You have to submit the scanned documents and upload them as an applicant, and then once it is approved, you have to show it as the immigration when you arrive in India. So that is how it is being done. So this e-visa facility is being endorsed here. So India-Uganda relations are also discussed. The government says we have healthy trade and business relations with Uganda. Even in March 2017, Uganda PM had visited India and he talked of investment by Uganda in India. $100 billion will be invested in India in automobile and pharmaceutical firms. So this was there. Also, he had then in February 2017, Vice President of India, Mr. Hamid Ansari, had visited Uganda, and there too agreements were signed on enhancing cooperation in energy sector, training of personnel for space research, and also for peaceful use of atomic energy. So we are having strong relations with Uganda is being shown by the government so that e-visa scheme is extended. The Home Ministry is actually the authority which implements the e-visa scheme as such. So once the e-visa is applied for, it is granted within 72 hours, around 4 days. So this is there. It was conceptualized, this e-visa facility was conceptualized by UPA government in 2014. So since then it is in place, and as I said, around 162 countries have been extended with this e-visa facility. Uganda may become the 163rd. So this is there regarding e-visa. So it also helps in promoting tourism, in even getting students from abroad here. So, and also other Indians of Indian origin, people of Indian origin can also arrive in India and stay here with us. So this is the detail how it is done. You can see online minimum 4 days before the travel you have to apply for it. It was earlier valid for 30 days. Now it has been extended to 60 days too. So this is there. Then the next news item is Liu Xiaobo, Chinese dissident who won Nobel Prize, dies. So this is regarding Liu Xiaobo. He is a Chinese human rights activist. He has been arrested by China 4 times. The first case was in the 1989 Tiananmen Square pro-democracy protests. So this was a prominent protest which took place in China. So he was imprisoned for the first time then, and since then he has been arrested 4 times. And when he was serving his 4th and final prison sentence here in 2010, the Nobel Prize Committee awarded him the Nobel Peace Prize as such for endorsing and working for reforms and political reforms and greater human rights in China. So for advocating these, he has been provided this Nobel Peace Prize in 2010. So still been under imprisonment, and Chinese authorities had in May 2017 announced that he had been diagnosed with advanced liver cancer in prison. Still they did not release him, and they said he's getting the best care possible. The activists, human rights activists here and the family, they asked that he be treated abroad. He was taken abroad for better treatment, but the Chinese authorities claimed he's getting the best treatment, and now the news comes that he has died in prison. He's the second Nobel Peace Prize winner to die in prison. The first one to die in prison was under Adolf Hitler's Nazi regime in 1938. It was Karl von Ossietzky who died of tuberculosis in Germany in 1938. So he was the Nobel Peace Prize winner who died in prison, and now this is the comparison being made here. So this is there. The details you can see are given here. Then the next news item is PM's task force recommends scrapping 5-yearly job survey. So we had discussed this earlier too. This is regarding the employment surveys. So a task force has been appointed which is chaired by Niti Aayog Vice Chairman Arvind Panagaria. And this is giving its recommendations now. So the draft set of recommendations have been put up for public comment, and then they will be approved by the government. So the key recommendations which had come forth earlier too, as the news had come forth. So here the key recommendations are that this traditional employment and employment surveys which are conducted every 5 years by NSS, National Sample Survey Organization, these should be scrapped. So there should be more regular, more periodic, these labor force surveys which should be conducted is the recommendation. And the urban surveys as such, they should be done updated every quarter. Means every year it will be 4 times that it will be updated. So this is the recommendation. Also he says that the quarterly enterprise surveys which are conducted, the task force says that these are conducted by Labour Bureau. These are having severe limitations. They actually measure employment in 8 broad sectors of industry and services. So here he says that the present news, the task force says that the present news and debates which are going on, that the jobs, there are not adequate jobs in the economy. There have been job cuts in the economy. So all these debates are taking place because the data which is coming forth from this quarterly enterprise surveys have severe limitations. So they're not giving the true picture. So now the recommendation is coming forth about how labor force survey should be done. This we have discussed earlier too. He had stated that time use surveys should be done. What are these time use surveys? That every 3-year interval, the data should be collected about how people are spending time spent in various occupations and non-market activities. All this should be collected. Information should be collected about them. Even time spent by females in households. So this will be used. So this will measure women's participation in unpaid work. So this will also be added to employment. So such are the recommendations coming forth. He had also recommended, this was in the context at the time of GST, we discussed that he had said, the task force has said that center can tap GST network database as a sample frame for new annual survey of enterprises. So much of information which we'll get through GST network, because all these organizations would be giving their details on GST. So how many employees are there, what are the turnover, based on that too much of information can be sought on employment levels in the country. So these will be used for having the employment details now. So these are the draft recommendations. Then the next news item is SEBI probing MSCI on irregularities plaint. So this is Stocks Securities and Exchange Board of India, which has got this complaint from a whistleblower. Whistleblower is a person who is working within an organization and knows about irregularities in that organization and comes out and complains in the open, outside. So this is regarding Metropolitan Stock Exchange of India, MSCI. So this a complaint which has been received from the whistleblower has been investigated into. It is regarding the exchange, which is not, this exchange, the Metropolitan Stock Exchange, not following proper procedures, and it had made certain payments to brokers which were illegal. So now this will be investigated into by SEBI. So let the investigation come forth, then we'll get more details and we can discuss. And the last news item is when DNA is the new hard drive. So this is the news regarding DNA now being used to store data. And for the first time, a film has been stored on DNA. So this movie has been encoded on a DNA of a living cell, and this DNA not just been encoded, it has been retrieved, tried to be retrieved, and it could be retrieved also, and it has multiplied indefinitely also in the host. So in a bacteria, you can see the genome, actually genome's potential as storage device has been proved now. So this is shown here. You can see earlier too we had seen this news. There have been many such cases of DNA, bacterial DNA being used for storing information, and as the bacteria multiplies, multiple copies are found. So this was a book actually which had been put into, encoded on a bacteria of a DNA and then had multiplied. So this can be decoded and retrieved also. So this, you can see, it says that it may be possible that one day a program bacteria can be snuggle up into the cells in the human body and they can record whatever is going on. So then whenever there's a problem, the movie of each cell can also be replayed and details can be brought. So this is similar to the black box which is there in airplanes, that when a crash occurs, then the black box will give you the details what went wrong. So this is again something which has been looked forward to. Plus there are other cases also which we have seen, that DNA has been used to store information, and also this DNA, how it has multiplied is that this DNA code, means the entire encoding has been done on the DNA. We'll see how encoding was also done, and then they have used this gene editing tool, CRISPR-Cas9. This also we have discussed quite often. So this sequence on which the data has been encoded, that has been put into the genome of bacteria, E. coli bacteria. So this is what they did, and they saw that the bacteria, which despite the modification, thrived and multiplied. So its a new generation also carried that same genome. So that same DNA information is going on. So that is carried forward. That is what has been achieved here. So here it is shown what is this DNA and what it comprises of. So this is the nucleus in a cell. Within the nucleus you have chromosomes. In humans we have 23 pairs of chromosomes. Various animals they have different number of pairs. So this chromosome is bundled up DNA. So you can see the unbundling shown here. This is the double helical structure of DNA, and on this DNA, particular sequence, this is called a gene. So this is the number of genes which are there on this DNA, and this gene, an expanded version here shown, you can see. So these are the elements here, the 4 key elements in the gene. So this genetic sequencing which is done, this is thymine, adenine, cytosine and guanine. So they are what comprise this genes here too. So this, what is done is actually the file whichever you have, that is encoded on the DNA. So the computer language is 01. So in terms of 01. So here, and the gene language is in terms of this ATGC, the adenine, thymine, guanine and cytosine. So in that format, this sequencing is done. So this information is converted into DNA sequence, and that DNA sequence is then added into the gene. So then that is, the synthetic DNA material then means it is synthesized, and that part with Gene editing. So gene editing is this CRISPR Cas9 technology. So you can see a sequence which has been developed, a cut paste technology. So this CRISPR Cas9 technology is a cut and paste technology. So whatever part you want to, part of the gene which you want to remove, you can cut it using this enzyme here and you can paste this new part. So this is DNA editing technology. This is CRISPR Cas9 technology. This is very much in use. You should know what is this. So this is a cut paste, simple cut and paste technology. It is shown in detail here how this technique works. So this is being used, and this DNA information, then genome information can be stored. And when you want to stored in an animal also, like in this case in the bacteria genome, this cut pasted in bacteria genome. Or if you don't want to do, wherever it is stored, this is then decoded through this DNA decoder, and you can then further retrieve and play your files. So this is encoding and decoding done. There's a decoder too. So this is a language, how 01 can be converted into AGCT, and then this gene form. So this is there. So this is another example of how Dr. Martin Luther King's audio clip was converted into, stored on DNA, so, and how it could be retrieved. So this is there. So this shows the storage limitations of various entities, like the hard disk, flash memory, they have storage limitations, but bacterial DNA has huge unlimited scope for storage of information. Right? So this is there. So these are the news items for today. Thank you.